Mahesh, how's it going, man?
Hello. Good, good. How are you doing? It's so nice to finally speak with you.
I feel the same way, man. It was so amazing. I felt like it was almost like the universe in a way. Um, I believe my cousin was the first person who shared me your music on
Okay.
Instagram,
Oh,
and I
wow.
was instantly in love with what was there. I think it was a Vina demo, and then immediately I saw Jordan Rudis's, which who I'm obviously we're all fans of, shared your,
Amazing.
GeoShred demos, and I was like, oh my god, this man is incredible. What you're doing on the instrument is like another level of expression. And
Thank you so much. Thank you so
yeah, man.
much.
So I always, and obviously I did not know how to get in touch. Or then I'm talking to Satya, we were having dinner, and he's like, "Hey, have you heard of this, person?" I'm like, "You mean like the iPad God?" Like I've been trying to, So yeah, it was so amazing. So good to finally meet you, man.
Same here, same here. Like Satya has been like our point of contact because even
Yeah,
I've been listening to so much K-pop in the last 1 year, and
yeah,
he tells me there's this guy I know, and I'm like, okay, I need to talk to him like right away.
incredible.
Yeah, I would actually love to hear about your journey of how, you know, you got into music production and, working with other musicians. And so if you can tell me about that, that would be enlightening.
For sure. So I grew up in Kerala,
Okay?
originally from Kochi, Kerala, and I started off by playing keys and rock bands. So I'm 41 years old, which
Oh,
means
wow.
you
Okay.
think about like growing up in the 90s, sort of,
Of course.
because a lot of rock and loud, everything from Led Zeppelin to Metallica to like, the Kerala sort of rock scene. Um, but also, I was very fond of synthesizers and
Okay.
programming, loved sound more than maybe I cared to practice the piano.
Hmm.
So that was a very big part of it. So I finished my bachelor's not in music, unfortunately, in as we have in India, go get a real degree. I did all
Yeah.
that. Um, I just figured maybe I should go to America, Australia, somewhere, and sort of learn the sort of sonics of records that we ended up loving.
Okay.
Now that at the time there was no YouTube. I
Of
came to the
course.
US
Yeah.
in 2005. YouTube just started right after I got here, so just kind of wanted to get some in-person time. So it was supposed to be like a 6 months thing. I came to LA, went to a school called MI,
Okay.
Musicians Institute.
When was this?
This is 2005.
2005. Okay. Okay.
And yeah, I showed up here. Kind of, obviously, we musicians, we're a good community, right? So language, nationality, none of that matters at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
That is true.
So start, like creating sort of a community, and really enjoyed working with a lot of friends I made here. So got into teaching a little bit also at MI. So
Okay.
started working away with indie projects, you know, with a lot of folk and indie music at first, playing a lot of keys all around town. And then that sort of led to working for RCA Records,
Oh,
through
nice.
a manager I met at the time. Uh, and yeah, it started a few good songs, you know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
once we started getting credits, um, I started to take time off of teaching, and so the teaching became less and less and less. I started, becoming a full-time music producer. This was
Okay.
around 2009, 2010, I would say.
Okay.
Uh, Yeah, so I did that for a while. I was also really into country music, so I love organic instruments still. Even
Of
though I
course.
program that. So yeah, started getting in touch with like a few natural musicians, and I loved the guitar, the lyrics that comes out of country music, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then working with a few artists like that, one or I think like two or three of my songs somehow ended up with a publisher.
Oh,
She used to
nice.
live, yeah, in LA at the time, and that girl ended up moving back to Seoul, and K-pop was sort of developing at the time.
Okay.
I didn't know much about it. I had heard like older bands like Girls' Generation and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, I wasn't sure what it was about. It felt like, is it EDM? Is it urban? Like, I didn't understand it, to be honest. But then,
Hmm.
um, by the time this publisher had some music of mine, she started pitching it to Korean labels. And what happened was simultaneously, through her and through another producer buddy of mine, I had two songs get placed in Korea, almost
Oh,
like
nice.
in a matter of a month. Yeah, one became number one for a long time, and the other one was also for a big TV show there. So
Okay.
that was like a very good start, you know. So I was like, okay, this is really working out. So let's see if we can do more of this. So I started, doing some pub deals there, and setting up my publishing company here in
Nice.
America. Over the years, grabbed a bunch of producer friends of mine and signed them to my publishing company. And that's how I sort of got into this thing called Loud Boy Music, which is primarily we do a lot of Asian music. So we did Korea, China, Japan, a lot of Asia. And
Nice.
yeah, it's been a great ride. And I still do love all kinds of music. Still do country songs once in a while. Do pictures in America as well. That has been life.
Oh,
That's.
nice.
I hope I kind of gave you like a bit of an
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been a long journey for you, and you've always been a synthesizer person, is it? Is it like?
Always loved them because before I could learn Bach, I just learned ADSR stuff. So always been into it.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Are you more of an analog or a digital synth?
yeah. I got both. I started off with like the old, remember Tritons and Trinities and stuff
Of
like
course.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Had the '90s workstation ones. So that's where I started, and then obviously once you start buying stuff, you don't stop, right?
Of course.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, one of these days, if the laptop was there, I would show you around. But I ended up getting a bunch of analog stuff. So right now it's very hybrid.
Of
Um,
course.
when we start ideas, sometimes if you're like playing like a Juno or something like that, that sound can trigger an idea.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we start with the hardware that way, or effects pedals or whatever. That's fine. But then when we have a writing session and I gotta get something done in like 10 minutes, like the
Okay.
hardware might take longer, right? Because
Of
there's
course.
not
Yeah.
a lot of them have patches and stuff stored. So I would go to Omnisphere or Serum or whatever, or a
Yeah.
model of the hardware that I might
Yeah.
actually have end up using the software instead.
Yeah.
Then later flip around it.
Yeah, because I'm like a completely digital, like everything I have, because I'm always on the move. I'm performing as well. So whenever I like travel, I like to work on music as well, like during the time. So digital works really well for me because of obviously I can't carry. I have an iPad, but that's pretty much it for
But
me.
yeah, but
So
you make it sing like, I mean, it is an instrument. I shouldn't say like an instrument because the way you express on the iPad, I don't think I can play the piano like that, because
well, yeah. So For me, actually, the iPad was a solution to a problem I've always been having, which was I learned to play the piano, like proper
Okay.
Western piano.
Yeah.
And then after, and I simultaneously, I was also learning Carnatic music.
Oh, very cool.
So I wanted to kind of be able to bend a piano,
Mm.
which I never could do. Well,
Right.
I could use pitch bend, but that was never like satisfying enough. Then
Yeah.
I saw a video of Jordan Rudess playing an app called GeoSynth. This was in 2013, which
Mm.
he had developed,
Mm.
where like just to give you an example,
Mm.
I can just play one note here and I can do that. So
Right.
that, so the moment I saw him do that, it was really inspiring. I was like, okay, this might be a solution for me
Mm.
to actually play Indian music on
Right.
something. So that's how I started developing a technique to play Indian music, and yeah, one thing led to another.
May I ask you something? So,
Yeah,
in our traditional music, Hindustani, Carnatic, all of those, you're dealing with quarter tones, and it's not chromatic scale, right?
of
It's
course.
played
Yeah,
more.
it's
And
not.
in your expression, I hear it. Indian music played the way Indian instruments or Indian singers
Yeah.
are doing it. Did you have to develop your own sort of way of, using the fingers, or like, um, how did you kind of develop your own style?
So what happened was when I started, I couldn't, obviously I knew that it was possible
Mm.
to play all of these microtones and all of these bends, because technically if you can do it on a fretless instrument,
Mm.
or say I've even seen people do it on a guitar.
Yeah.
So if they could do that on that instrument, I could even do it
Wow.
on an iPad.
Right.
So basically, I did develop a technique. So the technique involves the use of mainly these three fingers.
Okay.
I don't use my pinky. I rarely use my pinky, and the thumb is it's impossible to use,
Okay.
because so basically the way, if I may show you,
Yeah.
so the way this works is there are six strings
Mm.
on this app. So there are six lines, each of them represents a string. So the moment you press any of these buttons,
Mm.
what it's actually doing is it's actually generating the pluck of a string. And
Mm.
the moment I move from left to right, I'm actually sliding across strings. So
Right.
the way I develop the technique is, if you place your hands on a piano,
Mm.
you can use all five fingers because your hands are cupped,
Sure.
and you can use all the five fingers. But if I place my hand on an iPad like this, only three of my fingers align
Mm.
to a string. The pinky is down somewhere,
Sure.
so I'll have to do that. But
Yeah.
bending like that is kind of a problem. So
Sure. Yeah.
the thumb is pretty much impossible to use.
Yeah.
So these so I started off by developing, okay, how can I play simple songs
Mm.
by just these three fingers? And I have to think, when you're going higher in pitch, it's also, you're going, of course, right, like a piano, but you're also going. So basically, you have to restrict yourself to the center of the screen. There were so many things that I had to think about, but
Uh-huh.
it was a very satisfying journey to kind of be able to do something that I was never able to do before, and to be able to
Right.
do something so new and fresh.
Mhm.
So
That's incredible,
that's
man. Do you play the guitar as well?
I
The
can
reason
play like five chords.
the reason I was asking was, when like when you went up the strings like that. I
Yeah.
don't play the guitar at all. I play two chords, so
Okay.
so it's way worse. So I was wondering because other sort of I'm just gonna call them MP instruments,
Okay.
or expressive instruments. Like you have to learn like a different sort of fingering to play the notes,
Exactly.
right? It's
Yeah.
not. So was that like a huge jump for you, or it just came pretty natural because?
So this is actually a combination of a fretboard and a piano. So like you're still going
Hmm,
left to right, because on a guitar
okay,
you're going. I learned to play scales as well on a guitar. So
okay, okay, that helps.
so
That helps.
basically on a guitar, it's first of all it's your left hand and it's the opposite direction.
Right. Right.
So so this is a lot more relatable to me because I'm still going left to right when it's low to high.
Right.
And I
Right.
just, the only new parameter for me was going vertical
Mm.
for lower to higher. But the difference, so if, the way this is set up, is that it is like the five semitones and then vertical. One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three. So it's
Uh,
five. It's always five semitones like that. So
okay.
a D major scale will be the same as a C major scale, fingering wise, just like a
Cool.
guitar.
That's actually kind of cool. So you can transpose pretty easy, right?
It is. It's pretty easy to transpose. So all of these black things, I can tune it to whatever I want. So the tuning is actually just a visual reference. So I can even
Mm.
tune it to say a C major scale and play C sharp. So
Got
I
it.
can even play the black notes, and that's what makes it amazing. Of course, it's super
Right.
confusing for your mind because you're looking at something and
Right.
playing something else.
Yeah.
But
It's
otherwise, it's like it's the possibilities are endless.
endless. Yeah. Because I saw you like do these vibratos, and I'm like, yeah, sure, pitch bend is great, but pitch bend, I feel like this is like the prehistoric version of like the regular
Yeah,
pitch bend. But what you get to do on it. One last question on this, man, and I swear to God, I wouldn't ask
yeah,
more about this. Uh,
yeah.
you have to have logic or something for this. Like it has to be MPE compatible, right?
So
I
this
cannot use
actually
Pro Tools.
generates its own sounds. This is a physical model
Oh,
synthesizer along with being a controller.
got it.
So
So
it's,
basically, you can
yeah.
use it as a guitar, plug it
I
in,
can
right?
use it. I can just so the way I have plugged this is an aux cable. So
Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
it's an
not
EP.
USB.
It's
Yeah.
not USB. This is just like a,
Oh wow.
so that's when I play live. It's just like I connect just an EP jack to a DI and that's it.
Oh,
Of course, I have
man,
Ableton going on the background for
sure.
for everything else.
That's your backup band, basically.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I have a band along with a backing track and this cable.
You're the soloist, basically. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's a question.
Oh,
Can
that's a good
Mahesh, can you
question.
tell us the difference? Do you see that? Can you tell us the
Yeah, yeah.
difference
Physical
between
model and
physical?
versus samples. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so okay, so when you talk about samples, samples is basically you record something and play it back. Uh, so basically, you record, say, a sound of a piano pressing G, and whenever you press G on a sampler, it plays back that sound. So that's what sampling is. And when you say physical model, it's actually when you're playing G on your instrument, what the computer is doing, it's actually generating an oscillation of a string tuned to that frequency. So that's what it is. So yeah, to answer that question.
Perfect.
Great.